I can't change the way that you think I'm going to replace you, because that my energy is currency. I need people around me with the right energy while I develop myself to be bulletproof.
They want it now. And so if they realize that that doesn't come without a lot of time. So you either learn this stuff from pain by getting knocked on, like knocking doors and they rejecting you, or proximity. Go in the training platform and watch and do your trainings consistently, answer the tests and go through it, because that's gonna make your muscles better.
Bro, you know what I mean? That to me is priceless. The money, the business, the accolades and all that stuff, that's cool. But I did not, when I heard that man say that about grown-ups to given-ups, I didn't have kids yet. I said, one day when I have a child, and I have a son or a daughter, I'm gonna be their hero. I'm gonna go out there and pay the price. All right, welcome everybody to the Driven Not Given podcast. And I've got my buddy, Danny Pessy here once again. How you doing, my brother?
Good to see you, JC,
Good,
baby.
man.
God
Yes.
dang, dude.
Last time we were here, I think it was probably 2 years ago, bro.
That was the glow up before the blow up.
That's
dude.
right, that's right,
God dang, man. Dude.
I see you've been busy, man. You're all over the place.
Yeah, it's been fun, you know. So
Yeah.
for guys that don't know me, I'm a sales trainer. I've knocked doors for 18 years now, and basically just figured out a partnership for the new Build Network. And
That's
dude,
right.
Encore's blowing up. And so, yeah, man, I get very lucky to be able to learn from all the people that I've learned, and then go to different companies, learn from them, and then bring the best knowledge and the best techniques and share it with my group. So
That's right,
it's been
man.
fun.
Well, I'll tell you, man, we're very grateful. So we're going to dive into a lot of information here today. You are a wealth of knowledge, and there's a lot to learn. I went to your event a couple of months ago.
You spoke at it?
Yeah, I spoke at it too. Yep, that was awesome. So we had a great time. We had like 15, 16 people from our team there. And you know, that was last minute, right?
Oh, yeah.
We still were able to get those people there. But a thing with us is we're all about those events. Special things happen at special events like that. Your events are special.
Yep, thank you.
Before we get into the content and the training, I want to make an announcement.
I think you better let them do it, dude. You better tell them. You
Better
let them
tell
know
them.
what time it is, man. Let them know what time it is.
So we always want to bring as much value as we can to our organization. So Danny and I, we've been friends for a couple of years now. He spoke at a few of my events as well. I spoke at his last one as well. And we just want to announce a partnership that everybody that gets started with Encore Solar and Build Network now has access to Danny Pessy's virtual training. It's included just for being a part of our company. So Danny, tell us a little bit about that training, the fire that people are going to get from it.
So basically, there's two ways you learn, from pain or proximity. And for me, I've been very fortunate to spend my whole life knocking doors. And it's my first job I've ever had. And I've only sold direct to customers, never had another job or anything like that. So I learned a lot from my pain. But the cool part is I was part of a couple really large organizations, and I was also allowed to learn from proximity.
Right.
So what's ended up happening is there's been different generations in the direct-to-home industry. And the first generation was around the late 90s, early 2000s. I didn't get a chance really to learn from them. But the second generation, which was the guys that helped build Atlas, Pinnacle Security, Vivint, all these big companies, I was able to learn from them. And I'm what's called the third or fourth generation, which started in 2006 to 2008. And so I was at the tail end of the second generation's climb to power. And so I learned a lot of techniques from them. Yeah. And then the third generation started blowing up, and I was able to grab and gravitate from the third generations what they did to help blow up their marketing companies. And so they were part of what made door-to-door great today. Because basically what ended up happening is there was Utah, the land of MLMs, and they figured out how to scale the perfect organization and make it so you can make commissions on your product and build out a network.
Right.
So I learned from guys that had 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 man teams.
Shoot.
And literally the heyday of when all this stuff started scaling out from the Utah side of things. And so I've been able to take all of that information over years of stuff that people might have said good lines or techniques that have already transitioned into other industries and ran other businesses, and taken that and been able to teach it and apply it into this training platform that you guys are now going to have access to. And so ultimately, for anyone that's going on, you guys get to learn from generations, years of techniques that I've learned on the streetlights and now you guys get to learn it when I'm in the spotlight. And so that's the biggest thing is
Nice.
the more that you practice and you take these techniques, you can learn exactly the stuff that I've said, other coaches have said, your mentor JC, your individual leaders have done, and go out and apply it, because ultimately you could spend your whole life trying to go and knock doors or do cold calls and try to figure it out on your own,
Right.
or take your time and go through and do the training. And so that's what's so cool about this. When I started, there was nothing like this.
Right.
You learned from one guy, and if the guy you signed under sucked, you were SOL.
Right.
So now, luckily, you don't have anybody like that in your network. But
Yep.
the thing is there's a lot of people that do, and so they wouldn't have access to something that's good. So for your group, not only are they going to get access to you, but content from some of the best that's ever done it.
Right.
And you guys can take those techniques and apply it and get the direct results.
I
and
love
so
it.
that's what's really cool is not only do you have a platform, but you're getting the fuel to grow. Now the thing is the platform's the fuel. You got to go out to the gas station and put it in your truck, and then you got to drive. The
Right.
drive is making the phone calls, doing the work. You can't just sit at the gas station all day and fill up your truck.
Right.
I mean, dude, you're going to just sit there. You got to
Yep.
get out there and do the work. And so that's what is so impressive about you is you continue to invest into your people. Not
Yes.
only do you pour into them, but you
Right.
get other people to pour into them.
Yep.
And the saddest part about this industry is there's so many groups that are so standoffish and hold offish about getting other people to help them, then they wonder why they have to rebuild over and over and over again.
That's
So,
right. That's right. It's a very interesting situation, right? I know how to door knock, but not even close to what you do, and what the people that you have in your platform are teaching. I want my people to learn from that. At the end of the day, my philosophy is if our company is not the right fit for somebody and they need to leave somewhere else, God bless them.
Yep.
Hey, it wasn't for them, but the people that we do have, we're going to give them the best tools to be successful, right? So we believe in our business model. It's a little bit different than what's out there. But hey, God bless every business model. There's a place for everybody. I don't have a scarcity mindset. And one thing I love about your training is that it's not only door to door,
Yeah.
right? What kind of trainings can they expect from your training system?
So the thing is, door to door is just one avenue of your business.
Right.
And it's not something that you spend your whole life in like I did.
Mm-hmm.
It's a job where you go out, you learn it, you apply it and teach it so that it improves every other aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
Ideally in this industry, the real metrics of if you're doing this correctly is 80% of your income needs to come off of your downline,
Right.
and 20% comes off of your personal production.
Right.
But the thing is to get to the 80% in your downline, you need to dominate the 20%. So you
Yes.
have to figure out how to make six figures selling so that you can tell the people that you've done it, and then they can replicate it.
Makes sense.
And so that's what this content's for. It's designed to help you get over that learning curve faster so you make six figures selling so that you can teach people how to do it. And then that's how you grow it. And the problem that so many people get into these into the industry and in life is everybody wants to skip the selling part and they want to just go make the overrides.
Right.
And so that's the big thing is if you switch how you think to go dominate and learn how to sell for the next 2 to 3 years while still building your team, handing it off to a mentor,
Right.
so that then when you're ready to run your own branch, you can actually have that already down so you have a story. And the story is what sells, is the story of how you spent your whole 2 or 3 years grinding so that you can now teach those guys how to do it. Because people buy into your story and then they buy into you.
Got
And so that's the thing is you need a good story. And if your story isn't attractive, people aren't going to buy into you.
Yep.
And so that's why I've been, love telling my story is just getting out there and telling people as an 18-year-old kid, I got into a car, I drove up to Seattle, Washington, lived in a 3-bedroom apartment with 8 dudes.
Wow.
I thought we were going to work in a store and people were going to come buy my product at the store, and then they hand me a notebook. There's 25 Mormon guys in there, and there's me, just a straggly little college kid who just got done partying, and said, get out and knock doors. And I'm like, holy crap. And I just had my wisdom teeth removed 2 days earlier. My mouth was swollen and bleeding.
Wow.
Knocking doors in the richest part of Seattle, and I literally got my teeth kicked in.
Yeah.
And it was a week into it where I'm like, I didn't have any sales, and I just called my dad, and I was in a Wendy's bathroom, and I was like, dude, I don't like this. I come from a good family. My dad runs a company and was going to give it to me if I wanted it. And, it was a mechanic handwork stuff. And he's like, hey, dude, I'll always take care of you, always look after you. But right now you committed to doing something.
Right.
Finish that commitment.
That's good.
And it was at that point where I remember just bawling my eyes out in that Wendy's bathroom and talking to my dad, wanting to come home. And he's like, dude, you committed to it. Be a man of your word. And I stuck it out. And I made that commitment to finish the summer, not make it a lifelong goal. I was going to there for 4 months and then go do something else. But I committed to that, and when I made that commitment, that's when I started seeing my life change, because whenever hard stuff came up, I already decided I wasn't going to quit. So I had to figure it out. And so that's what ends up happening. And I think that's the hardest part about this generation is if you're watching this, there's going to be times where you want to quit. But the decision needs to be made up front when you join this opportunity that no matter how hard it is, this is the stand that you take to figure it out. And so if you make that decision up front before the hard stuff happens, you already know your answer. So when that voice comes in your head, like, dude, I want to go quit. I want to go to sit to the McDonald's. I want to go take time off. Like, no, bro, you've already made the decision. And so
that's such a golden nugget, bro.
Yeah.
Such a gold that if you guys caught that, man, this man here is not only highly sought after, he's, in my opinion, and in a lot of people's opinions, you're a legend, bro, in the industry, and training, in door knocking, in sales, and a couple of different things. And the way that somebody that is successful thinks versus somebody that is not successful, there's a big difference. That it's such a simple thing, but it's so powerful that you make a decision ahead of time, is what you said, that you're not going to quit, that you're going to see it through. That way, when the hard times come, you already, hey, my decision was already made before I even started this.
Yep.
And to think that we are going to be successful in any endeavor without obstacles is naive.
Yeah.
We're going to get obstacles, and that is a part of the business, right? So I love that, man.
Yeah. And that's one of the things too and so many people are like, oh, this is hard. I've seen this play out. I remember 18 years ago when my buddy quit because it was too hard. And then I saw the habits that he made when things got hard. And every time when things got hard, he gave up and went to something else. So one thing that happens if you guys do feel that this opportunity isn't for you, or you're not good enough or not cut out for it, well, number one, nobody's cut out for it. I wasn't. I was a comedian and doing stand-up shows and stuff in Hollywood. Right? And so I was cut out for that, not this, but I developed myself and I cut myself into this by continually grinding. And so that's the thing is if this isn't for you, make it for you and figure out how to like it, because this skill set that you develop will change your life. And obviously people come to this to change their lives. The money is a byproduct of how much you change in this opportunity. So the real sale isn't selling solar. It's coming here and selling yourself that you're going to figure this out. And if you figure this out, every other aspect of your life gets better. As your family relationships, you start finding ways to sell your family. You find in terms of like selling them on doing better, having a better relationship. You start figuring out how to make everything better. And it starts with you. Then you work with your family, then your team, then your company, and then you start working on your country. And so that's my thought process is once you try to become the best version of yourself, then you can help other people. But the thing is with this industry, you have to start with yourself. You can't skip steps. It starts with you figuring out how to sell, get your life together. If you're not selling a lot, fix it. There's people right now making ridiculous amounts of money selling solar. And there's guys doing it ethically, and there's nothing wrong with making good money. Okay? And so the thing is if you have that commitment to becoming the best version of yourself, doing it in an ethical way and sharing that message, and you make that commitment, this is literally the best thing that's ever happened to me. It sucked. I hated doing it. I look back on all the shit that I've missed in my life, and I would never change it for a single thing because of what type of person I started off as when I was 18 to where I'm at with my life right now. I'm literally changed myself as a complete different person. And that is the real commission of this job. Because if solar disappeared, we could go take our network, our business, and we could go sell a brand new product and do the exact same thing. And so that's why that skill set alone of transitioning to anything is what the real money is at. It's not selling solar, it's not the product, it's that skill set to innovate or die. And that's why you're here, is because you realize solar is the next big thing. And if you don't innovate, your current model, your current industry, your current business is going to die. And solar is the biggest generational transfer of wealth we've ever seen in our lifetime. And so for people not realizing that, and if it's too hard for them, well, perfect. That makes more for guys like us who are committed to it. And so your decision has to be is, number one, are you going to innovate? Or number two, are you going to die? That's what's so nice about this job is you have to get better or you get out.
I love it.
And that is what I truly enjoy about this.
Man, you hit so many topics, right? One of the things I will address is this. when, like you mentioned about a buddy of yours that quit, right? And then that became a pattern. That's because that becomes the identity of somebody.
Yep.
What you do or what you don't do starts to shape your identity, whether consciously or unconsciously,
Yep.
right? And so you started developing the identity of when things get hard, you know, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. That's one of my favorite sayings. When the going gets tough, the tough get going. And most people, unfortunately, they didn't have parents like the one that you had that said, you committed to something, be a man and finish what you committed to. That's what I teach my 9-year-old son.
Yeah.
My other son, our other son is 2 years old. He's going to be 3 soon. He doesn't understand that yet, but that's what we're going to teach him.
Yeah.
And I think that's so incredibly important. And that's why there's such a disparity between the haves and the have-nots. And the middle class is disappearing. So you got, you know, I was talking in my sales meeting on Monday, I told the team that there was a study that was done, and they said that if all of the wealth in America was evenly distributed amongst all of its citizens, within 3 to 5 years, all the money would go back into the hands of the people that originally had it.
Yeah.
Because you got to be the person first. It's be, do, have. You got to be the person. Do the. If you are the person, you'll do the stuff that person that achieves those things will do, and then only then will you have the stuff. So you hit on a lot of things that make a lot of sense, and then you also hit on. That's what I think a lot of people in solar don't understand this.
Yeah.
Which is this. This is the largest transfer of wealth in history, right? Warren Buffett said that. That's a billionaire that said that. And if you understand and ask yourself this question, do I believe that in the next 15, 20, 25 years, America will go renewable energy, electric vehicles and solar panels on just about every roof? And if the answer, if you've been paying attention, you're going to say to yourself, yes, I do believe that that's the case. If you've been paying attention, okay, all of those people are going to be somebody's customer.
Yep.
At a 4% market penetration, approximately in America, every 1% equals roughly $5 billion in commissions earned. So you got 96% times 5 billion. People are going to get wealthy as heck in this industry.
Yep.
But most people are in, it reminds me of me, bro. I was in the real estate boom from 2003 to about 2008, December 2007. I didn't know that I was in a boom. I just thought this is good money, and I just went, and I was in my 20s.
Yeah.
If I knew that boom was going to end in a couple of years, I would have worked harder, been more disciplined, saved more money. You know what I mean? But hindsight is 2020.
Yep.
I now know I'm 41. You gain wisdom with age, right?
Yep.
I know we got a 10-year, in my opinion, super sweet. The next 10 years are going to be good, but we got 20 years at least of this tremendous boom, and I fully intend to get wealthy and help as many people as possible get wealthy, right? That's why we mix solar with network marketing, which is what we've done, my partners and I, for a long time. That's what we love to do, and that's a business model that we chose to do it with. But whether you are in traditional solar sales or something a little bit different like what we are, I recommend that we say all the time, same thing that you said, recruit yourself, recruit your spouse, and recruit the world. Yep. In this case, sell yourself. You got to be sold yourself. Sell your spouse so he or she supports you. Like, I may not do the business with you, but you got my support. I understand, right? There's a short window of time. We're going to capitalize on it and then go and sell the world, right? Yep. So I appreciate you sharing that, man. There's so much, we think a lot.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing is when you think of attracting or wanting to go recruit people, a lot of people are like, oh, I don't want to bug people, and it's, oh, I don't want to go out and like talk to people at a job opportunity. There's something going on in your head where you're not sold. Right. And so if you realize that we have literally the greatest opportunity, and the people we talk to have been waiting for something like this, but they just didn't know about it. Right. Like, who wants to go work at McDonald's? Who wants to go work at be an Uber driver? It's just they're waiting for somebody to be a leader and sell them, because their conviction, whoever's the most convicted on what they're doing, ends up winning. Yes. And so that person ultimately doesn't want to do what they're doing, and they need something to be introduced to them in a way that's can show them that it's better than what they're currently doing. Correct. And so that's why it's one of those things, is the first thing you start with yourself, and then you get your family involved with it. And when your family buys into you, that's when stuff gets taken off. I remember when I was younger, I told my mom, she was always worried about me going into sales, going to people's houses, someone could kill me. I said, Mom, I love you. I'm an adult now. I never want to hear you say that one more time. I appreciate you worrying, but I've got this from here. You got me up to this point. I've got this going from here, and I only want to hear support out of your mouth. Nothing's going to happen, and if it is, it's because of me, and I'm going to make this work. And so then the dynamic changed, and they all bought into it, and I never heard one bad thing about me going forward. And so part of it is setting up boundaries, and a lot of times people don't have self-confidence, and so they let other influences happen to them where they talk them out of, hey, oh, I'm going to go do this thing. Hey, did you hear about this new side job I got? I'm selling solar. Oh, I didn't hear this. And then those boundaries don't come up, and they let that get into their head, and they talk themselves out of an amazing opportunity. And so that's why if you're watching this right now, one of the big things you need to do is, number one, set boundaries for yourself, get your family involved, and build those around you, because the thing is these things will come in. They will try to distract you. And so having that belief in your product, having the belief from your spouse, believing in you for the belief in that product, that's going to help you go through this journey. And that's the boundaries that I set with my father is, hey, you committed to this, finish it out. And so my boundary is when I want to quit, I'm not crossing that anymore. I've already made that decision, and I told my loved ones that I commit to it. And so that's why, if you're watching this right now, what boundaries can you put in place to protect yourself on this journey? Because this is like a video game. There's going to be people that are going to try to attack you. There's going to be people that are trying to backstab you. People that you love that see you trying to get better, and they realize, hey, if JC goes and blows up, I'm not going to have that relationship with anymore. And subconsciously, they'll try to suppress you to prevent you from growing forward.
Misery loves company.
Exactly. And so these guys, want to try to hold you back because they want you as how they remember you, not as who you're developing. So
makes them feel uncomfortable. It's like crabs in a bucket, right? You see crabs in a bucket. One tries to get out, the other one's pull it back down. They all have the same goal to get out of that bucket, but they can't stop themselves from pulling one back down. Unfortunately, friends, family members, acquaintances, high school friends, sometimes boyfriends or girlfriends. I've been in situations where, ex-girlfriends and stuff, right? My wife and I are on the same page, but ex-girlfriends, they didn't have that mindset. And I tell people, look, if you can't change the people around you, you've got to change the people around you, meaning replace them. I can't change the way that you think. I'm going to replace you because that my energy is currency. I need people around me with the right energy while I develop myself to be bulletproof. You talk about setting those boundaries. That's having posture. When I do a training, I tell people very often, lean forward and feel these bumps behind your back, right in the middle of your back. That's called a backbone. Use it. You're not a jellyfish, right? You got to have that boundary like, no, this is what I'm going to do. Yes, I'm not doing good yet. I'm brand new, but I'm learning. And you either need to be supportive or don't give me any negativity. If you don't have to agree with it, that's fine. But this is what I'm going to do because you know something they don't know. You know that we've got this window of time. I feel like this. I was told a long time ago, everybody's given 2 opportunities in their life to get wealthy. And I tell people, I don't know if this is the first or the second, but I guarantee you this is one of them. Now, maybe this is the first. Maybe you already had one. This is the last one. But maybe this is the first and the next one is coming in 20 years. I don't know about you, Danny. I don't want to wait 20 years, bro. I'm going to seize the opportunity right now. I think the Carp Diem, people have that tattoo. It means seize a day. I'm going to seize a day every day. I'm going to seize the opportunity every day. I'm going to go out there and make it happen. And yes, there's going to be those obstacles. For those people that have kids, I ask them this. Would you take a bullet for your kids? The answer is yes. Great. You take a bullet for your kids. You die for your kids, wouldn't you? The answer is yes. Great. Would you take a no for your kids? Would you take rejection for your kids? Would you take a year long or 2 years long of rejection for you to figure it out to make that desired income and make your business work? If you would take a bullet for your kids, then you got to put things into perspective. I would take rejection for a year. I would take discipline for a year so I could figure this thing out. And once I get on that other side of figuring things out, there's a lot of money to be made in this industry. The juice is worth the squeeze, right?
Yeah, and so that's the thing is if you're like stressed and you're going through this, all these things that JC talks about are initially scary. And so the thing is why they're scary is because you don't have your hustle muscle built yet.
Oh, I love that.
And if you get your hustle muscle built up, you can handle more difficulty.
Yes.
It never gets easier. The job never gets easier, but the muscles you develop around it, the people that are surrounding you make you better so the job becomes easier.
Right.
The no's don't get softer. They always are the same. You just know how to handle it more and spin it. And so that's what I really like is having a skill set where you can go into a situation where they come at you and you can spin it and then get them on board with it, it's very, very fun. And so that's the thing is people lose, because this is such an instant gratification society. They want it now. And so if they realize that that doesn't come without a lot of time. So you either learn this stuff from pain by getting knocked on, like knocking doors and they rejecting you, or proximity. Go in the training platform and watch and do your trainings consistently, answer the tests and go through it, because that's gonna make your muscles better. You go to the gym to build your chest and pecs.
Right.
You go to the platform to build your brain muscle, your hustle muscle.
Yes.
So that hustle muscle, the way you develop it, and if you're watching this is the key to it, is you watch 5 segments a day. 5 videos with a segment on there that talks about improving one skill set. You answer the test, you take notes, and you'll be a student of the game. 5 a day keeps the IRS away.
I love that.
And that's one of the things to think about is if you're wanting to get your hustle muscle built, you watch 5 segments a day. The videos are 2 to 5 minutes long with a test at the end. And then you get a report card at the end to see how it's done. If you're new watching and you're new into the platform, you want to focus on the 30 days to pro. Your first 30 days, you want to watch those videos every single day over and over and over again. Those content on the first 30 days to pro are the biggest, most important things you need to learn to be able to have a successful summer selling, a 4 to 6 month sprint, right? So when I worked at Vivint is the #1 door-to-door company of all time. They've since have lost that title, but well, in all time they are, but right now they're not as big as they used to be. But ultimately they spent all this money showing statistically, what main skill sets do you need to develop in the first 30 days to be able to go into being a rookie into a pro? So watching those trainings and learning each one of those segments and being a student of the game is going to help give you that hustle muscle so that you can last 4 to 6 months. The push to 4 to 6 months is when you start seeing install checks. If you can get the install checks, then you get the confidence. Okay? And the confidence then leads from 4 to 6 months of pay into a year-long pay. And then so here's the statistics is if you don't increase your income every single year, you've got a 60 to 70% chance to quitting, right? So if you're watching this, is you have to continually grow your income. And that goes from year 1, my first year I made $21,000, year 2 I made $70,000, year 3 I made $110,000, year 4 was $350,000, and then 10 years straight I did right around that. And so the skill set, what got me hooked was the first bit to get me that 20K. Then I raised and doubled, tripled my income every single year. Now I'm a lifer. And so that's the thing is if you're watching this, your skill set, you need to develop that and train. And I would have gone from, instead of 4 years to 350, I could have done that in half. But we didn't have this content back then. We didn't have the knowledge. So now we have the tech. Now you have the platform. Now it's up to you. And so the thing is you guys take the time, you go in there and do the training so you develop the hustle muscle so that you guys can go out and get the results.
That's powerful. And like you mentioned, there's so many tools available these days. It's easier to make it happen, but it's also easier to get distracted, right? We've got Netflix. Back in the days when I was a kid, you know, I'm 41 years old, so we had like 5 channels, right? And it was like whatever you wanted to watch came out at a certain time. Now you've got infinite amount of choices. It's at your fingertips. You never have to get up. I'm old enough to we used to have to get up and change it. Also, we were pretty poor, you know. We used to change the channels like this. We had the antenna and stuff. And so, but the point being is that everything is easy. Options are easy. I could watch. People can get stuck on YouTube on their cell phones, scrolling all damn day. But if you start to develop, I talk a lot about identity in my trainings. If you start to develop the identity of I'm that guy or that girl that gets things done, that has the discipline to watch the 5 a day, that has the discipline to get on the doors X amount of days a week, that keeps the promises to myself, to my leadership, that I'm going to do what I said I'm going to do, right? Then you start to develop that identity. Then that's what separates you from everybody else. But nowadays it's easier than ever before. Because think about it. The content is so much good content is available for free. Then you want to get the best content. Yes, it's going to cost you some money, but it's worth it. But most people, because of the world that we live in today being so easy, everything, right? I don't even have to, back in the days, they criticized you just for going to get fast food. Okay, sure. Of course it's easier, healthier to eat at home. But now you don't have to go get it. You just order a couple buttons, boom, and it shows up a couple minutes later. That is cool. But there's a bad side to it that it creates so much ease
Instant
of
gratification.
everything, right? One of my favorite quotes by Stefan Arino, he says, strong men create easy times create weak men create hard times, and hard times create strong men, and the cycle continues, right? We are in the easy times that's creating weak men.
Yep.
And lack of discipline. Obesity is at an all-time high. If you look at every aspect of it, that's the reason why. That's why proximity, I'm gonna get some shirts made, matter of fact, Jay, that say just proximity and build on the back. Proximity and anchor on the back. Because proximity, if you start to hang around champions like you, right? Champions like me, champions like some of the people that we work with, I guarantee you're gonna level up. I experienced this, for example, I've been kickboxing all my life, karate and kickboxing and martial arts. I remember I went to the Muay Thai gym, a real Muay Thai gym. It's like in a warehouse, bro. Like hot box, right? And I hadn't done it in a long time. I would go to the UFC gym, a comfortable gym, but like this is like a real fighter's gym, right? The Yard Muay Thai. Shout out to Joe Schilling in the Yard Muay Thai. So I go there, and I was at the time like 38. And there's a bunch of dudes in their 20s working out. And they're, running and doing sprints and doing burpees and hitting the bags and like then sparring on a Saturday morning. They're going hard, bro. I get in that class with these guys and I realize I worked out way harder because of my proximity. Not only that, there's tests that are done that if you put a man with a group of other men whose testosterone levels are higher than this guy's testosterone level goes up.
Oh, shit.
Because of the proximity. So if you hang out a bunch of bums that are sitting on their couch eating peanut brittle, watching Netflix and binge watching, that proximity sucks, bro. That's why you gotta get people to the correlation meetings, to the sales meetings, to the training now.
Yep.
Instead of Netflix, how about I go watch the 5 a day?
Yep.
You know what I mean? And master this stuff. Brad Lee says training isn't something you do, it's something you did, it's something you do.
Yep.
It's like showering, like brushing your teeth. It's something that you do if you want to be a winner, if you want to be a champion, if you want to make the multiple 6 figures and the 7 figures and beyond, right? So I love that, man.
Yep. And that's the thing is just continuing to put that effort. You know the right and wrong choice. And that's why paying for something is one of the most important things you can do to help you learn it. Because if you don't pay for something, you don't pay attention. That's why going to conferences, doing trainings, doing all these things is you're paying the cost.
Yep.
And so the thing is what people don't understand is you're going to pay for not having the information. And how that cost comes up is when you're at a closing table and the customer says they need to think about it and you don't know how to overcome that. That is the most expensive thing that's going to happen in your industry right now is it's not paying for a training. It's not coming to one of my events. It's not buying a book. The cost of this is getting a customer who's on the fence and you can't push them over. How much is the average solar sales commission? $3,000 to $5,000, right? And so then the thing is if you can't get someone to say yes, that's your cost. It really costs you $5,000. Wow. It's not the paying the $1,000. It's not the membership fee. That's going to make you pay attention, and that's why I think your membership fee is too cheap. If you were to double and triple it, watch how much the progress and people would go, because then people would start making serious.
I agree.
Like I had a $99 for the year for Paramount Plus, right?
Yeah.
Watched it twice.
Right.
If it was $10,000, I'd be like, I got to get my money.
Right, it's true.
So that's the thing is, guys, is the real cost when it comes to training is the deals that you miss. So if you're sick of missing deals and you're sick of not closing deals, get your ass in the lab, 5 a day, keep the IRS away, fix the hustle muscle.
I love that, bro. Let me ask you this, obviously sticking to the same subject of solar, but a little bit different. One of the things that I noticed, and this might be a little bit of a surprise of a question, but why do you think, what I've noticed over the last, since 2020, that in the social media, the Facebook groups, in the solar groups, why do you think there's so much pessimistic people like criticizing other companies so much? In your opinion, why do you think that happens so much in that industry?
I think that number one, a platform gives anybody a voice, and 80% or 20% of the what's the 80-20 principle rule?
80-20. Yeah.
80-20. So 20% of the production comes from
80% of the people.
Or 80% of the production comes from the top 20%.
Right.
And so the problem is if you give a voice to some of the lower percentage of people, they start hating. Like I see some of the stuff that's on there. It's like, dude, the platform doesn't make the company. The man makes the company. Then the company, the man builds the company. And so there's no better opportunity, good or bad. I worked for probably the worst paying company in history, Vivint, but I made the most amount of money because I took the most out of the platform. So the thing is you're going to hear a lot of negativity, but ultimately the person who's going to decide isn't the people on Facebook talking shit. It's the people that button up their shirts and get to work. Yes. And so that's the thing is you can be successful in any platform, and that's the big thing that I'd recommend is don't listen to the naysayers, because you're never going to find someone more successful than you belittling you. It's always the people below you talking shit.
Yeah, it's funny, and I bring that up just because I said I want to have a clip of this when I see it, because here's my theory. I think what you said makes total sense, right? Because the people, the 20%ers that are producing 80% of the production, they're busy closing deals, following up on deals, being disciplined, not on social media, freaking scrolling to see what they could, or something like you'll see people make a post and they want to get negative reactions about other companies. And my philosophy has always been this. There's two ways to have the biggest building. Number one is go build it yourself with hard work, sweat equity. The other way is go see every building that's bigger than yours and go knock it down. And I think what happens too is that's a testament to the fact that it's so easy to make money in solar. And by easy, I mean I should say simple, not easy. Simple means if you actually put in the work to training and you put in the work to prospecting consistently and persistently, you're going to get results. So you got a bunch of people making 10, 20 grand a month, maybe 25,000 a month, 30 grand a month, that were waiters before making minimum wage. Now, a lot of people think, oh, because I'm making more money, I'm intelligent and stuff. Is like, and they say a bunch of dumb things. And I look at it like the culture of, with my wife, I watched the movie Mean Girls. And it kind of, some of these people remind, and this is not everybody, by the way, I want to make that clear. There's a lot of really class acts, right? But some of these guys remind me of like the Mean Girls and stuff, always bashing other companies. And I think we should change that. Like people need to get the message out like, bro, you don't agree with the way they do business. That's fine. There's people that are not going to agree with the way your company does business. Who gives a shit? We're still helping homeowners. You know what I mean? We're still all on the same team, but these numbnuts don't get it and stuff. They're always criticizing, pointing the finger at other people, making fun. Like, stop doing that. You look like a jackass. You know what I mean? It makes your company look bad too.
Another reason why they do it is a recruiting technique. It's talk shit. It's blowing down the other buildings, because then people are like, well, dude, if my shit sucks, why is yours so much better? And so then I see through a lot of the stuff. Like people are strategically doing it, and I'm a firm believer. It doesn't matter what T-shirt you have on, what company you're with. If you're damn well determined to go out there, you're going to go out and kill it. And so that's the thing is because I've lived it. I've lived with the companies that paid the least, but you make the most. And so as long as you're with the right culture, you have the right mentor, and then you're putting in the work. Like you can have a great mentor, but he's not going to knock the doors for you. He's not going to make the phone calls. You make the decision. There's no better or worse platform. There's people. People make the platforms, and some people have better people than others. And if you want to have the best company out there, you make the best people. And so that's what's so important about having a culture like this is with your group, they have access to training, they have access to you and their mentors, and it's all about people. It doesn't matter the name, it's the group that you guys are here together building. And that's why if you guys can all develop to be the best versions of yourselves, you can take over the whole game, and then people eventually start coming to you. It's because you're not looking behind you, you're looking in front of you. That's why when you're driving a car, the rear view mirror is only 10% of what you see. The vision is the future, and the people that are the biggest innovators in the world are the Bill Gateses, Elon Musk, because they're trying to change, society. And so they're not talking all the shit that happened before them. It's like, dude, how can we make the world better? And people like that are who we're attracted to. Everybody loves the guys that are changing the world. And so, they're the heroes of our lifetime. And so, that's why people rally behind them. And so ultimately, if you want to do what the heroes of today's society is they're trying to go the future, not the past. So the guys who are successful see people talking shit about the past or what companies they're with. And then I realized, dude, those guys don't understand. Like their mindset's messed up. I don't want anything to do with them. Because if they were solid, they would be getting so big, helping everybody, that they'd naturally attract them. And that's what recruiting's all about is you don't, if you get good enough and you get your platform big enough, people naturally come to you. And so people in your life start seeing you getting better and they want a piece of it, and so that you help them get there. And so ultimately, as you develop to become the best version of yourself, then you start helping others and doing the same, and they start attracting to you, and life just starts getting better.
Now, and I think in any organization, it's so incredibly important to have a coach of personal development, right? Teaching the sales and all that stuff is great. But for example, we have trainings on Mondays throughout the week, but Mondays we start off with a morning training and an evening training. The evening training is a personal development training. It's called the Millionaire Mentorship Zoom. So we get a bunch of people on that Zoom, and one of our millionaire earner reps gets on there and does a personal development training, because yes, we have to learn the how-tos. The how-tos are important. But if people's mindsets are weak or pessimistic mindsets, scarcity mindsets, that's when you get reps like that. And they don't realize that they make their organizations look bad. That's not the way that a professional should carry themselves. And we don't want to make the profession look like that. It's just, all this bashing is stupid. For me, what worked is when that would happen, I actually created like a recruiting video. When they would talk about my last company that I was with, I said, you know what, if people knew I'm able to sell them better than these guys are able to sell their company. So I said, for one of the things I offered, I said, hey, let's have a live debate. You get 10, 15, 20 of your reps. I'll get 10, 15, 20 of my reps. And you and I have a live debate, and let's see whose people leave. Not one person ever took me up on that offer. Because when it comes to recruiting, nobody's going to fucking out-recruit me.
Yeah.
I come from the MLM world, bro. I'm an MLMer that sells solar. I came from the MLM world. We built a team of 1,600 people in that company, 2,100 installs. And some people may criticize 1,600 people, 2,100 installs. That's not a good ratio. Most of those people were part-time. At the end of the day, though, my first
80-20 rule.
Yeah, the 80-20 rule, right? And not only that, like what a lot of the installs happened before we had the 1,600 people, right? At the peak, we hit 1,600, but 2,100 installs in our first 3 years with no experience in solar. We're happy about that. You know what I mean?
Fantastic.
Yeah, bro. So we have much bigger goals right now, and that's fine. I believe that comparison is a thief of joy.
Yep.
I'm not gonna go compare myself to you with your accolades and stuff, right? But I'm going to learn from you, and I'm going to be happy. And as long as I know that I'm doing what I need to do on a daily basis to advance my business and my career, I'm happy and I'm growing, and I go bell to bell hard. I'm doing all the things that I need to do to build a successful business, right?
Yep.
Now, what advice, Danny, would you give to a brand new person starting on the doors? Like, hey, man, I get it. There's money to be made going door knocking. Solar's a great industry. To that guy that obviously they more than likely have some doubts, what advice would you give that guy?
So the big thing to think about is, if you're brand new at this job, understand your customer's already paying for solar. So they're paying from solar through a middleman.
Right.
And realistically, if they understood that concept, that the customer is already paying for solar through a middleman at an inflated price, they would want to cut out the middleman. So your job is to be so confident in what you're doing and believing that if they understood that, they would say yes and not get tricked or discouraged by them telling you no.
That's good.
And so every time you hear N-O, it means they do not K-N-O-W something. They don't know why solar benefits them. And what we're going into now is a lot of people that are telling you no have actually failed credit or didn't qualify the last time, and they're consistently getting turned down. So when you come in there and say, hey, you want solar, it's like, bro, this guy just went through an exciting roller coaster of finally being in control of his power, then he failed credit, and then you knock on his door and he's freaking triggered by it. So that's one thing to remember is a lot of these rejections you're getting are people that have already been rejected and couldn't go solar even when they wanted to.
Right.
And so now, instead of going through that whole process and embarrassing themselves because they couldn't qualify before, they just tell you no and shut the door in your face, and you think you did something wrong, but realistically, they did something wrong because they couldn't fix their credit.
Wow.
And so that's one thing to remember is when you're out there and you start getting rejected, there's a reason why, and get curious about it. So many times when people get shut down, they try to talk their way out of it. I ask my way out of it. Oh, how do you mean? Oh, did you already look into this? Or did you try to before? And watch, if you hit somebody and they say they're not interested, oh, okay, so you've already looked into this and what happened? Then they'll go into it and all of a sudden they start opening up and they're like, well, I talked with somebody before and then he never came back. Oh, okay, cool. Why did he never come back? And then you start digging to the root of it. So many new reps, they show up and throw up. They throw up all this information and hope someone bites.
Right.
So the thing is if you go out there, you're confident in what you're doing, you know they want it, and then you hold strong through that process of rejection, eventually they'll see that you're not some Kirby vacuum guy they can rush off the door.
Right.
And they start opening up and sharing with you because you're a professional.
Yep.
And so how you become professional is you know your stuff. You have your script dialed in.
Right.
You know exactly what they're going to say when you say X, Y, Z, and objection comes up. You know how to handle it. And that's what's so important about the training. I literally take you guys through a 7-step process. 7 steps that I've done my entire career. When I knock on somebody's door, I show you it live, I show you it in training. You're going to see me knocking using these 7 steps. So if you do it, you have a strategy.
Right.
And so the thing is, why guys get nervous when they get in a car, go to a neighborhood, and they're like, shoot, now I got to knock, is because they don't know what they're doing.
Right.
If you knew every step of the way of this customer, you'd be less nervous.
Right.
And so the thing is realistically, if every person's already paying solar and they're paying a middleman, why would you not be sprinting door to door and talking to everybody?
Right.
It's because in your own head, you don't know what the hell you're doing. So
love it.
learn it. Take the time to get your hustle muscle dialed in. Spend the time doing the training, taking the notes. So when you show up, you have a game plan. You have a roadmap. And that confidence instills into the customer. So then their objections go down because your confidence is going up. And so it starts with your confidence here and the customer's confidence here. And if you stick through your process, the customer's confidence starts going up and they meet you here, that's when a sale's made.
That's powerful.
So that's
Wow.
the thing, is know your stuff, dialed in and out, write it out, spend the time doing the training, because it's possible. Anybody can sell. It's just if you could stick with it through that discomfort, that confidence builds in the customer's mind because they see you leaving and they see you encouraged and enthusiastic. And they're like, dude, this guy is happy. He's not getting shut down. When I told him to F off, he laughed and gave me a high five. Like, dude, this guy must be legit. So
Right.
all right, fine. Dude, I couldn't get you off my door. What is this about?
That's dope.
You already probably talked to somebody, okay? We're here because most people in this neighborhood did talk to somebody, and there was a part where they couldn't go forward with it. Because right now, I don't know if you looked at your bill last time, but you're actually paying for solar. What's the main reason why you're continuing to pay the middleman?
Wow.
What do you mean? Grab me your bill. Let me show you. Oh, right here. This is a charge. You're actually paying for the solar power. Have you looked at the percentage that California gets from electricity? Over 50% of your power comes, or I think it's almost 100% now is renewable. So right now you are paying for it. They're getting the credit from the government to get the renewable energies. You're not. So why are you letting them take it? And so when you break it down to that with confidence, it's just an educational process.
That's powerful.
And so these little tricks come from training.
Yep.
Okay, so you train, you practice that. You spend time with your buddy. Hey, can I rip with you for 20, 30 minutes and just freaking boom? And then he hammers you with objections and you just role play it.
Yep.
Because then if you really want confidence on the doors, the way that you build that is a customer tells you no, and the words, the response, the body language that comes out of your mouth when a customer hits you with something like that tells them, number one, you're legit, or number two, you're a goof. And if they see you and they hit you with a rejection, they're shit testing you. They're seeing how you respond. And if they see you respond in a negative posture or negative way, they're like, all right, I got this guy. He's off my doorstep. But if you come back even more confident with trained, polished, drilled, rehearsed rebuttals, they're like, oh, this guy's sharp. Okay, I'm going to listen to him. And then all of a sudden, those rejections start going down. So if you were to come out and knock with me, you'd see I don't get any of that. People might at the beginning, but instantly they start taking me as a higher powered person. So when I show up, I look like a golfer. I'm dressed to the nines.
Right.
I wear no jewelry. I'm wearing an Apple Watch. I have a polo tucked in. I've got my hat on, and I'm just there for business. And I look the part. I'm well groomed. So I show up looking like their boss. So subliminally, they can't talk to me like they have more power than me, because in their mind, they're like, oh, dude, this guy is my supervisor.
Yeah.
So because I'm there to supervise their lives, because realistically, the neighborhoods I go and knock in, I'm getting them better decisions than they're making, okay? And so I know that I know more than them, and they're gonna thank me because of it. So I don't care what they say. Like, they're gonna be thankful that I helped them go solar. They don't know more than me. They don't, like, what they think is about solar is wrong. I am right, and I'm gonna help them. Just like a doctor that's treating somebody.
That's posture. You got that posture, and you get that by training and by doing, right?
Yeah.
We teach all the time, there's 4 kinds of knowledge. There's learned knowledge, activity knowledge, modeling knowledge, and then teaching knowledge. I'm sure that when you're on stage doing your thing and you're teaching stuff, you start to tell yourself sometimes like, oh, that was good. You start to learn, right?
Yeah.
So I tell people, learn knowledge is the first one. That's when you go through the 5 a day, like you said, the video courses, right? And the classroom settings. Then the activity knowledge. That's the most important one. When you take this stuff from the learned knowledge and you go apply it in real life, you have a whole different set of knowledge when you get there. Then eventually you become pretty bulletproof when it comes to these objections. It's like, dude, I've heard it all.
Yeah.
I got people that tell me, we recruit a lot. Our thing is sell and recruit. We recruit like crazy. Oh, you know what? I don't like I don't like to recruit people. Hey, you know what? This business is specifically designed for people that don't like to recruit. Yep. And bam, bam, bam. I roll with the punches. So like in network marketing and team building, people look at me kind of like people in solar look at you, right? Yep. And so we do stuff like that so I understand exactly what you're saying. Now, I've done door knocking. I've done good at door knocking. Not like you, but I understand what you're saying because you got to get out there and do it. When I went door knocking in 2019, long story short, we lost everything. I went door knocking ADT home security right before solar. And I remember I shuttled my wife. My wife, is a phenomenal door. She doesn't do anymore, but I went shadowed her for a day. Then I went on a Saturday to hit the field. And she tells me the area that you went to, most people with experience in solar, in door knocking, wouldn't have gone there because it's been hit a lot.
Yeah.
But sometimes when we don't know what we don't know, we just, And I said, when I got there to that neighborhood, I said, somebody here or multiple people in this neighborhood need a home security system and I'm going to find them. Yep. And I'm going to make up in numbers what I like in scale. I'm going to power walk. I'm going to have a great attitude. I'm going to be sharp. I'm going to stick to the script. And I'm going to find that doggone person. Maybe somebody like Danny Pessy is going to get more deals than me, but I'm going to find what I can find as the skill set that I have right now because I know that I've got the mindset to do it. And yeah, 6 hours into the day, that's my first day door knocking home security. I got my first deal.
Yep.
Hey, not too bad. Made a little $600 commission or something like that. But I'm like, if I could get one, I could get 10. And if I could get 10, I could get unlimited, right? So now I'm excited. So some of the stuff that you guys saw here, some of the fire that Danny was spitting, that's the kind of stuff that you're going to get in the academy. That you as an Encore Solar rep and a part of Build Network have access to automatically is included into your membership. That and way, way more, right? Another thing that we've worked out with Danny is that your events, our people automatically get a discount to your events and stuff. So contact the people that are in your leadership for the next event because you have events across the nation, right?
Yeah, we got one coming up in September, but also everybody, I do a training call once a month.
Yep, that's
for
right.
everybody in my community. So you guys all have access to that. So once a month, you get a third-party perspective coming in, giving you knowledge that's outside your exact group. Yep. So that's another thing too, is make sure that you're on those. So Monday mornings, 9 a.m. Pacific, the third Monday of every month. Email notifications will be sent out. I post about it on my social media and stuff. I always bring in guest speakers. But as being a student of the game, guys, and one thing that I hope I can instill in you is who you are now isn't who you're going to be at the end of this journey, and you can change yourself. Like I recently took a test. I grew up in special ed my whole life, and by being in this job for years and taking care of myself, learning, I took my IQ test and I was ranked as a genius.
Damn, bro.
And it was impressive, and I wasn't this sharp when I was beginning.
Yeah.
Right? And if you guys continually train and do this stuff, you can make yourself smarter.
Wow.
By some parts, I guess I would consider myself a genius. Other parts, I'm an idiot. But, I consider myself more of an idiot than I'm a genius. But the thing is you can make yourself better.
Absolutely.
And if you're here and you're struggling and your life isn't where you want to be, you can change all of that. And it's diving into the work. The change that you want to see in your life is in the work that you avoid doing. So if you're not happy with where you're at, start doing the stuff that's going to get you there. The tools are there. This is my life's work. I'm an artist, and I poured everything into this because I can't come to your house every day and wake you up and say, let's go, baby. So that's on you. You have to go put in the work. You do the training, and you'll get the results. And that's what's crazy about life, man, because all of a sudden you're going to look up, and it's going to go crazy. Like your life's going to go by quick. And I'm so thankful I put in the work that I did now because all my friends growing up, like they're not anywhere where they thought they would be. They started giving up on where they wanted to go with their goals, ambitions, and desires. And everyone from my town is so proud of everything that I've built. And it's because I just never gave up. And if you're here, you maybe can be that one guy that when you walk into a room, people are like, hey, that's the guy. That's the guy. You know?
Yes.
So for me, I ended up being that guy, and that's one of the things I'm super proud of, and I hope that you guys can get to that place too. And so, that was one of those things that I learned from Jim Rome. I'm big into Jim, dude. He's awesome. He talks about, at the beginning of your journey, you can be at the end where people, when you walk in the room, people point and say, hey, there's that man. So
yes.
that's what's so exciting about this.
You've got there already, man.
Well, it was a long time. And so what's cool about this is so many people, I told you got to get better or get out. I got lucky because there's guys that were way better than me at this job. I can go on, but they got out. And I kept going, and then here I am.
If you stay and stay, you'll get your pay.
That's right, dude. So
you mentioned about not giving up, and it just reminds me, and we're about to wrap this up with your closing thoughts, but I have to mention this, right? Most people do give up, and unfortunately, people that have kids, I heard a speaker once say, kids around the age of 13 or 14 stop looking up to their parents because they see that their parents went from grown-ups to given-ups.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They gave up on their goals. They gave up on their ambitions. They gave up on those things. And the kids look at them saying, well, I don't want to be like my parents. Then they grow up being and admiring an athlete or admiring a movie star or a YouTuber these days or something like that. And that's sad. One of my goals was always, I want to be my son's hero.
Yep.
I want not a TV star. You know why? Because I'm going to be disciplined. I'm going to hit the gym. I'm going to have a successful business. I'm going to take him to school, pick him up from school. Multiple times. The last time that this happened was about a month ago. I'm taking my son to school in the morning, right? It also helps that it's a 7 Series BMW that he's in the back of, right? And so, but he's seen the journey. He's seen me speak on stages. He's seen people, go up to me and take notes on my trainings. And I have him sit in the front row when he goes to my training, and he's taking notes. He's taking notes, right?
Oh, that was the kid.
Yeah. So as that happens, bro, we're going to school one day and he says, Daddy, when I grow up, I want to be like you. Bro, you know what I mean? That to me is priceless. The money, the business, the accolades and all that stuff, that's cool. But I did not, when I heard that man say that about grown-ups to given-ups, I didn't have kids yet. I said, one day when I have a child, when I have a son or a daughter, I'm going to be their hero. I'm going to go out there and pay the price. And I think that's a very important message, bro.
Yeah, that's 100%.
Any closing thoughts for the audience before we close this out, bro?
Yeah, I mean,
And how can people connect with you as well? How can people follow you?
Yeah, so Facebook, I've got a Facebook group, Solar. Let me see what the name of that dang group is. We just changed it, but it's my Facebook group. Great place, wealth of knowledge. We monitor selling solar, daily objection handling, and team building. We monitor, so there's not a lot of nincompoop saying stupid stuff in there. So join the Facebook group, get some support in there. My Instagram,
What's the Facebook group called?
It's called Selling Solar, Daily Objection Handling.
Perfect.
And team building. So join the Facebook group, my Instagram, and then my company Instagram is authentic.io. Nice. So we give out lots of content, all of that stuff there. And that's my closing thought is, for people that have kids or people that don't have kids, I think about this a lot is, would you be making your ancestors, would you be making people in your family proud by the work you do every single day? Somebody sacrificed for you. Somebody believed in you, and how you go at this job is a direct reflection of how much you appreciate those people's sacrifices they made for you. And remember that. People tune that out. They numb it. They said, oh, well, my mom came here from another country. Well, forget it. I'm here. I can coast. But someone works so hard to get you here. Don't take advantage of it, or do not take it for granted. And that's what I love about first generations to America is people are so dialed in and work so hard because, I'm like, my family came over on the Mayflower, and I grew up in a neighborhood, a very similar demographic, and those people are not taking advantage of it, and they're not grinding. And there's something crazy in my head where I'm just after it. But seeing people go after this opportunity is a direct reflection of who they appreciate in their lives. And so if you're watching this, there's someone that believed in you. Take this opportunity serious and show them that their belief in you was not for nothing.
I love it. Awesome, my friend. Appreciate you coming on the podcast, brother. Appreciate it, man.
Money.
Hey, guys, I'm excited for you guys to get this content. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. Make sure you guys share this with everybody on your team. If you guys got some value from it, show us some love. With that being said, I'll see you guys on the next episode. Take care.